Hey guys, I'm live. I forgot to do my intro, so we're going to do it real quick. Hi there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker. I'm the badass lawyer, host of The Emily Show podcast, and I am a legal commentator breaking down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories that we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I am a big fan of the cursey words, so headphones are recommended. This is where the law nerds unite with facts, not fuckery. I had camera fuckery this evening, and so I'm a little bit late. I'm very sorry. We have over 18 new members that joined in the chat while we were getting ready to go live, so thank you so much. Camera fuckery tonight. I tell you what. So I'm like, I'm coming. And Diva and Tech got it handled. So, it is what it is, right? What are we going to do? The text crew voted for green this evening. So here we are with some sassy green lights. Sassy. I am drinking some kombucha. It is rosé from not Synergy, from a different the health one, the one with health in the title. It doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy, but that's the one. That's the kombucha for this evening. Thank you for the compliments on my hair. My face is a little red because I was blow drying my hair. Here's the thing. Look, I'm going to just have an influencer moment. We hit 77.6, almost 77.7. Maybe we'll get to 77.7 on the stream. Law nerds up on the channel, and like over 14,000 on Instagram, and like 11 or 12,000 or something on Twitter. And a glam squad did not show up in my house. Like, I did not learn how to do the things. It just, numbers happened, and I'm like, shouldn't I know things? Shouldn't I know more things? No glam squad. But you know what did show up at my house? Okay, Girardi Cosmetics, the lovely Jen Girard sent this, which is incredible, and I love it. So that is what's happening tonight on the lips. I will have a code down below. I have a code. There will be a code. There's a mirror. It lights up. It's the greatest. And then the hairdryer that I've told you guys all about and ranted and raved about. # not sponsored. But Revlon, I'm down. So that's on the Amazon shop, and it helped because I was like, damn it. I went down a rabbit hole researching today and then was like, no, it's 6:15. So now I'm like, I'm a little hot. Drying my hair always makes me so hot. So that's where we're at. That was my influencer moment. I'm like, wait a second. Doesn't glam come? Where's that moment? Where do you get taught how to do things? No, you just kind of figure it out. But that's why I have the team and the mods and everyone who helps keep it together so that I can learn the things. It's like, no, Emily, no, you don't get ready 20 minutes before a live. You need more time than that. You procrastinate like a motherfucker. And then I forget time and I lose track of time because your girl's ADHD. So I'll be like researching something and I'll be like, damn it. It's so I don't have enough time to get ready. So that's what we're doing tonight. And that's why the hair is what it is. I'm going to try to get to some super chats. We're going to try to do 2 topics tonight. We're going to try to do 2 topics tonight. That's the goal. And I'm going to tell you what, here's how we're going to do it because your girl gets distracted. When I go into a topic, I'm going to put the topic I'm doing at the bottom of the screen. I'm trying it on a ticker. If that distracts me, I will change it to just a static thing at the bottom of the screen, letting you guys know what topic we're on, what case we're talking about, so you don't have to pop into the chat and be like, what are we talking about again? It'll be at the bottom. Hopefully that will be helpful. And then I will do kind of my breakdown on whatever topic we're talking about. Tonight, we're talking about the Girardi case, and then we're going to talk about that Lori Ann declaration. Now that there's been some time to process it in my brain, and then each topic, questions, moving on to the next topic, questions. And then at the end of the night, we're doing it's really the second installment of the Court of Public Opinion, but the hot dog sandwich debate is still raging. So we have a new topic for tonight for the Court of Public Opinion here at the end of the show. So without further ado, I'm going to answer some questions. Then we're going to get into the Girardi updates and then questions about the Girardi stuff. I think I'm going to do like a full deep dive into the Girardi case for the podcast this week because you guys, there's so much and I really want to narrow it down and see how concise I can get all the things. Because when I'm live, there's no being concise. We all know that. Let's be honest. Over 3,000 law nerds up here on the YouTubes. I can't see how many people are watching on Facebook. Hello, Facebook friends. Hopefully you can see me too. That's normally where my mom and dad watch, which is the only reason I put this on Facebook on Fridays. So that my parents can watch. I should just teach them the YouTubes, and that would be amazing. Madeline, hello. I am watching while I work on my literature review. Lit review. My husband did so much lit review when he was in his maxillofacial program. So like we spent the first substantial portion of our relationship sitting down while he was doing lit review for his maxillofacial prosthodontic residency, and I was doing school stuff and then law school stuff. I'm a fellow ADHDer, by the way. Oh, and you're getting your PhD. That is amazing. Just study the way you study and you will continue to inspire others. Madeline, thank you for that so much. There are some, it's fermented kombucha. There are some that are alcoholic, some that are not. I prefer to add my own vodka because I prefer not a grain-based vodka. So I do that. So yes, the Health Aid one. Perfect. No, you didn't miss anything. I was just late today. It rarely happens anymore that I run late. I was here, just camera fuckery. Unfiltered coffee, your name caught my eye. It's one of those reasons why I think you're a fabulous lawyer. Just look at you making dyslexic people are not stupid. You rock. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Dyslexic people, just like anyone with mental quirks, or what neuroatypical, which I hate because like nobody's brain is typical. I think we all think about things differently, but we process things differently, and that takes others time. And I think we're going to see that through the Court of Public Opinion, right? I put it out to the channel members to start bringing topics for the Court of Public Opinion, and in there I saw people saying, "Wait, you do this way, not this way?" Like, we don't know how other people do things unless we interact with them. And we don't know how other people think unless they trust us to share those things with us. And I take those shares very, very, very much to heart and treat them with the respect that they deserve. So yay. Oh, thank you. Shelly Belly said, you deserve everyone. Well, the law nerds, look, it's not just me, it's us. We are the law nerds, and we deserve to have all of the friends. I was sharing earlier today on Instagram, and if you're in the text crew, you would have gotten a text notification. I put it up on Twitter too, but the text crew gets the notifications. I very rarely forget. I have people on the team that remind me things, but the text crew, if you're in North America, I'm working on expanding it. If you're in North America, you get text updates from me. So if I'm going to go live on Instagram, I'll just text the text crew and I will put it up on the Twitters. So if you happen to catch it, you catch it. But I was saying on the text crew today that my son, who's in junior high, is doing theater this quarter for his elective, and he is in heaven. And I'm like, oh, you might have found your people. And it's not that I root for my kids to do a certain thing. When my kids are like, I want to play soccer, I'm like, sitting on a soccer field makes me want to die. But I'm here for you. And then when they're like, I want to quit soccer, inside I'm like, yay. yay. But outside, I'm like, are you sure that's what you want? Okay, then. Tear. Same with baseball. Oh, you want to play baseball? Great. Nothing more than I like than sitting in those awful bleachers. Fantastic. Let's do baseball. And then when they're like, Mom, I don't think I want to do baseball anymore, I'm like, yay. So when my junior high school kid who does archery with me, when he was like, there's nothing better than sitting at archery. It's so much fun. I love being at archery. I also don't mind sitting at a pool. I know some people would be like, oh, you want to be a swimmer? Everything smells like chlorine and I want to die. I get it. We all have our things. But he also enjoys the kids that are choosing to be in theater. And I'm like, this is kind of what it feels like, buddy, when you find your people who have similar temperament and have respect for one another. So he's like, yeah, it's kind of nice. And I'm like, that's what the Law Nerds are here, bringing it back around. There are people. So I was sharing that on Instagram today that he's really enjoying theater this semester. And he likes theater tech, which doesn't surprise me at all. And he's fascinated with like cameras and lighting. I should have him fix my white balance. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to be like, buddy, camera settings are off. Get in here. We're going to fix it all. So he's really into it. And when you find people who kind of have common interests and mutual respect, it's really fun to be in community. So that's where I'm with like, this is part of all of us. So it's part of all of us is the Law Nerds. That's the point. Anya, like, subscribe, and join the Law Nerds ranks from Chicago. Thank you. Perfect for me to watch during my ACL surgery recovery. That's a long one. I've done that one. I mean, I've done a lot of surgeries, so I can say the things, but the ACL recovery is a long one. It's a good thing that my content, even when I say it's going to be short, is at least 45 minutes to an hour. It's like, no, we're going to be quick. And then it's like, Emily, you're at 45 minutes. I'm like, really? But we were just chatting. So welcome and good warm thoughts for a speedy recovery. If you would have watched Tati back in the day, I don't know, Lisa, if you're asking me, I did watch Tati back in the day. But I'm still not good at translating, like watching beauty stuff. The only stuff I'm good at translating on YouTube is like if people do step by step, like, oh, step by step, this is how you like fix this setting on your computer. I can follow those. Like I can follow the tech ones that walk you through. And then I'm pretty good at following like the skincare routines. Like, oh, we like these ingredients, not that ingredients. Like I kind of feel that way. Excuse me. That shit's never going to happen. Like, I'm all about paying your people. I just don't see it. I'm like, can I just keep like black tea? Like, I don't need all the clothes, but a blowout once in a while, but also COVID. So, Law Nerd PSA, new Uber terms of service have arbitration clause like Facebook and IG and no opt-out option. Oh, well, that's very interesting. Uber's tired of getting sued over what their drivers are doing, it seems. So can we sue someone for being a horrible person, i.e. Jeffree Star? No, unfortunately, social cancellation. And I don't love social cancellation. We're about conversation, not cancellation. When people are not for you, all you can really do is walk away and just be like, I can't support you. I don't support your brand. I don't watch your videos. And I don't watch Jeffree's videos anymore either. I don't buy Jeffree's products anymore either. And not based on what somebody else said about him, but based on his own behavior. I was like, can't support that anymore. Can't. Wish I had known some of this before. I'm not about cancellation. I think if people want to support Jeffree, you have to do what's right in your heart and your mind and your conscience. But I can step away. So no, unfortunately, in most cases, you can't just sue someone for being a dick. But you don't have to support them. So there's that. Thank you guys for all the compliments. Kelly Cat, hi, would love to become a member, but Apple doesn't show me a join button. The mods will add the link. You can also do lawnerdsunite.com after the stream and it'll get you right there. I will add the Jen Girard link. I did talk about water polo today too. Courtney, that's amazing. Amazing. And I saw people giving love to the mods and I wanted to pull it up. Mary, thank you. Thank you for giving love to the mods. We love the mod squad. They're amazing. And they do just such a good thing. So Jen Girard's in the chat. Hello, Jen Girard. Good to see you. We were talking about this fantastic gloss. This is pink frosting. And the mods were like, Emily, you forgot to put your code in the chat. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to pull it up and get it to the mods. So that's why you're going to hear me typing. because I have it, but I don't have it pulled up because sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. You guys are so, so sweet. We do love Jen Girard. A, we love supporting a female business owner. B, we love supporting business owners that support the people that we love. And C, Jen's got purple hair and amazing dogs. So we stand. And she's been super, super kind and welcoming in this community, even when stuff is kind of wild. She's like, it's fine. Girl, it's fine. Take a breath. Thanks. Thanks so much. So let me get my link for the law nerds, because I'm going to talk about it and everybody's going to be like, what are you talking about? We want the things. All right. And then I'll figure out how to customize this later. So I'm going to give it to the girls, and I will put it in the video description. See, this is why Friday Night Live is our time to chill. Because we just get to have a chat and have a chill. Which is why I say in my footer all the time, some of these links are affiliate links, because then I can just add it in. And it's not an issue. Thank you, mods, for keeping me like professionally and stuff. You guys, I appreciate you so much. So Tech Valor put in the chat the link for the hairdryer. I think I missed a few super chats. I'm sorry, the chat just jumped. I'm working on that. When was the don't delete your shit sent to KJ? That, Sierra, I will address a little bit more when we get into that topic, but the litigation notice was sent October 31st, and then the stipulation was signed later. But from my perspective, the litigation requirement to not delete your shit tacks back to when you're on notice, and when she was on notice was the 31st. Pam Marshall, congratulations on getting your I Heart Cursey Words coffee mug today. I'm so glad. I love it. Those are in the description too. You guys, if you want merch, there will be more merch coming, but that's at the Law Nerd Shop. So let me try to get a few more questions before we get in. Somebody was saying just watched H3. I'm going to have to catch up on YouTube drama and not law drama after the stream. I'm just going to wait for like Nick and Dustin to tell me what happened. I'm going to be like, can somebody break it down? I need you to explain to me like all the things. The thing is that the channels that are so helpful to me give the breakdown of like, this is all the context that you missed. And I'm like, thank you. And then there's sassy editing and I'm like, thank you. So I very much appreciate it. We've got Octo in the house. What's up, Octo? Can I sue whoever thought 6-year molars were needed? Lord help me. Yes. Depending on your belief system, evolution or God is going to be your go-to on 6-year molars being a giant, giant pain in the ass. I feel you. I am sorry for your pain. It is absolutely a thing. Kara, thank you so much. I love listening to you. It calms me down. I appreciate that compliment. I have been seeing the animal photos on Twitter mostly, and some on Instagram, of animals just like sitting and watching with us on Friday night. And I'm like, oh, all the law pets. Kelly Frost says, migraine bionic senses really are awful. Have to close live chat for my vertigo is going nuts. I'm sorry, Kelly. It does get going fast, and I completely understand that. And we have it on slow mode, and it still absolutely jumps. So I'm sorry. Allison, welcome. I'm so glad. Us MS teachers loving critical thinking. Yes, critical thinking is so critical, and yet not often discussed, and should be, which is kind of what we do here, and what we're going to do when we get to court of public opinion later. Cassie said, such a good week. I got engaged. Congratulations. Yay, Cassie. And got to catch a live. Thanks for all you do, Emily. You're welcome. You provide such a great break during these crazy times. That's what I am here for, 100%, to kind of, just take a step back from how heavy everything is, which is why I really do try to balance the law, like news law stuff, and the law pop culture law stuff, because I do enjoy both. But sometimes when the news stuff is so heavy and prevalent in our lives, it's time to just not discount what's going on in our world and in the news, but also take a shift and spend a little time just focusing on something else, like rich people being sued. I mean, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. And that's what we're going to jump into in just a second. Oh, I'm making sure I don't miss anything. And Elisa said, go watch Emily's TED Talk. Well, thanks, Elisa. You super chatted to shout out my TED Talk. I appreciate that. I had such a big mental breakthrough this week. I'm working on not thinking I am broken. Elisa, you are not broken by nature of the fact that you are here and having this conversation with us and aware that that's the story that you were telling yourself. Being different is not broken. Not wanting what everybody else wants is not broken. You are not broken. The things that might have tried to break you have not. You are victorious. So go forth and find your words. And thank you for that very, very kind super chat. Paw nerds. Oh, I like the paw nerds. I love the paw nerds. So thank you. Thank you, Chromava. That's what we're going with? I'm like, it's going to be wrong. I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Before we jump in, I'm going to say that I'm going to try to get to super chats and questions when I get to Q&A. I'm not going to necessarily be able to get to all of them. I am going to do my best to get to all of them. Nicola, thank you so much. I adore you too. It is an escape. We get to run away and play with the law nerds. When is something else due for filing on the Halo business partner lawsuit? There should be, okay, with regard to the business, with regard to the Halo business partner lawsuit, the Tati Westbrook business partner suit with Clark Swanson, they have filed their, and I don't have the dates in front of me, and I will pull them up when we dive back into that case, but they filed not an answer, but a motion to dismiss based on jurisdiction. So there will be, just like in the defamation case, there was a motion to dismiss, and then there was an opposition to the motion to dismiss, and then a reply to the motion to dismiss. That's what's happening in the business partner lawsuit. There was a lawsuit filed, and now there is a motion to dismiss. Then there will be a reply. Then there will be an opposition. Then there will be a reply. Then there will be a ruling. That's in the defamation case. What I expect too is that the judge will rule on the pleadings. It doesn't mean that KJ's camp might not file something else. So we will see. Carrie, thank you. Thank you so much. The TED Talk really is very special to me. And I talked about that maybe Tuesday, I think, on Coffee and Cursey Words. I was talking about the TED Talk being very special to me. It's linked on my channel, and it's also on the TEDx YouTube channel. So if you have not seen it, want to see it, I will also link it in the description box. Mods, note it for the record. Remind my ass to put my TED Talk in the description box. But you can also just search Emily D. Baker TEDx and you will find it. I also enjoy TEDx talks. I really like the way that they flow, and they are shorter. It's like a 17-minute talk. So if you guys are used to watching me here, you're going to watch the TED Talk and be like, wait, is she already done? Like, what? Yeah, there's a time limit. Let me tell you the struggle. Let me tell you the struggle to pare that talk down to 17 minutes. The struggle is real. So, Julie, it has sunk in some. So we're gonna get to it after the Girardi stuff. So tonight, thank you, Cassie. Girardi, questions about Girardi? Lori-Ann's declaration, questions about Lori-Ann's declaration, and then we're going to do court of public opinion. When I switch topics, I'm just going to remind everybody, like, we're switching topics, and I'm going to remind everybody when it's question and answer time, so that I make sure A, I stay on track, and B, when we switch topics, that we switch the questions into that topic too. If there's a ton of questions, we might just stay on one topic. I'm always open to let that happen. I love seeing the countries you guys are coming in from. You're so incredible. Thank you. So I will absolutely, you guys already have the KJ questions already. How does lawyer-client confidentiality work with Lori-Ann's declaration, if at all? Real quick, Arwen, Lori-Ann said he wanted to represent her, And the thing is, when you're the client, you can waive the privilege. So Lori Ann has the right to speak about whatever she wants. It's just when you're in a suit, if you go on a video and make a comment and say, well, my lawyer said our case is super strong, or my lawyer said da da da, basically anything other than we have no comment, ask my lawyer, it can really open the door to questioning the lawyer about the conversations, but the client's allowed to waive that privilege. And so based on my reading of the declaration, he offered to represent her. It seems like she thought that there was legal advice given there. I think there's a strong argument that there was legal advice given there, but she can waive that privilege and be like, yeah, fuck that noise. I'm gonna go tell Salty everything you said. She's allowed to, and the lawyer can't block it in most cases. So not much that can be done. The privilege is the client's to waive. In the lawsuit between Tati and KJ, how many times can it go back and forth before the court sees it? Look, we should have been done by now, Pink Piggy. We sure should have. We sure should have been done by now. Normally, you get the lawsuit and then either an answer or a filing. And the filing in this case was the motion to dismiss. And then you get an opposition and a reply, and sometimes a surreply. So it's like defense files the motion, plaintiff files the opposition, defense files the reply, and then sometimes a surreply, sometimes. But there were these precipes too, with like the precipice being the motion to add more shit. Because of what happened on social media, the court should be setting a date or a noting date or a ruling on the papers soon. So that's why it's going back and forth. Thank you, Sasha, so much. Sasha said, thank you for being you, Emily. Such a blessing. Thank you. And I do try to read these all out for people who don't watch the video. But as we get busier, it is not going to be practical that I get to read them all out line by line, or we'll be here for 45 minutes reading Super Chat. So thank you, Jennifer, so much. Happy to have you. Thank you, Toasted Blonde, so much. Can't believe all the tea yesterday, KJ. Well, we're not going to besmirch. We're just going to keep it moving. Lori Smith, it's good to see you. Thank you for saying hello. Do you think the judge is going to put out a minute order? I don't know. That's a great question. I think the judge will probably just issue a ruling, and I'll show you what that looks like in the Girardi case, because we're going to get there right fucking now. Let's talk about rich people getting sued for a bunch of shit. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to talk about that? And then I promise we will get back to KJ. So as we're doing that, you guys tell me, we have almost 5,000 law nerds up in here. Tell me how many thumbs up we have, and let's see what we can get. It's so good to see you guys all coming into the chat. All right. I'm freaking raking. Good to see you, friend. You guys, if you don't follow, I'm freaking raking. Fucking raking. I think I'm going to interchange it. No disrespect. On Twitter, she has a Dropbox link to get to the documents. So if you want the court documents and you want to read them for yourself, it has been supplied for you and you can go find them. So that is there. All right. We will, Serenity, cover this when I get to that topic. So there are a lot of ways an attorney-client relationship can be implied. It is one of the things that attorneys have to deal with, because if somebody comes up to you at a cocktail party and is like, hey, can I ask you a quick question? And you're like, yeah, sure. Tell me your whole life story. And it's like, oh no, if I were you, I would follow this motion and I would do this and that. If it's legal advice, it can be seen as legal advice, and that can be seen as creating an attorney-client relationship. So money doesn't have to change hands for it to be a relationship. There doesn't have to be a contract for it to be a relationship. It's why I'm careful when we talk about this. And it's why it's like, this is not legal advice. I am not your lawyer. I don't know the facts of this case. It's why we talk generalities, because if somebody's like, hey, so I was in a car accident with such and such and such and such, and this and this and this happened. What should I do? Depending on my answer, it could always be seen to create an attorney-client relationship. And that's something lawyers are very careful of saying, I can't tell you what to do in your case. My suggestion would be to find a lawyer in your local area, take a look at these things, write everything down, preserve any evidence. But it's not going to be, you should file a motion to delay this. You should respond in this way. Those giving advice of how to handle a subpoena is legal advice. So we will definitely get into it. Thank you guys. I think with 5,000 law nerds up in here that we can probably do better than that. The algorithm and I both thank you. So thank you for hitting the like button before we move on. All right. Passenger shaming. It's good to see you. All right. Ross says, kind of a question for both. After the dust settles from the cases, Girardi and Tati, who would sell the rights? You can't write this drama. Look, I have never, ever seen stuff pop off like this. There need to be rights somewhere. There needs to be a Netflix documentary. There needs to be an original. I need it to be dramatized. There needs to be rights. There needs to be rights. There needs to be rights. So there needs to be rights. I keep hoping that Erika didn't know about any of this. She was one of my favorite housewives on the show. So sad. Jaylee, this is where I struggle as well. I always enjoyed Erika Girardi on Real Housewives. I do. I think her music is a bop. I think that How Many Fucks Do I Give is a lot of fun. I think that she was a really fun presence on the show. What I don't like, and again, on this channel, we are not here to drag people, to make fun of people, to speculate about people's mental well-being, to ask why people do certain things. Yeah, sometimes when it comes to litigation. So, but I have questions. We're going to Instagram for my questions, and we're going to get into this first and then we're going to get into a case brief of like the Girardi cases and where we are. Like when I have questions about things, the questions are like, how did Corp's husband go viral on Twitter for breathing? Do I need to release a video breathing? No, I'm teasing. The answer is no. But sorry, he popped up on my Instagram first when I was getting in here to pull up Erika Jayne, because her Instagram is so fucking tone deaf right now that I literally can't. And it's making me sad, but it's also making it really hard for me to not have my opinion changed, because knowing all of this is going on really is hard. So yeah, this is fantastic, Linda. We will have a link in the chat with the mods, and I have a link in the description box of this video, because I get it. I get not being able to support. See, look, I told you it has light. It has light. I get it. And I get not being able to support somebody the way that you thought you could. And that's where I'm at with Erika Jayne. And it's also making me sad. And here's the thing, why I understand why we're just going to enmesh these cases right now. Why I understand how people who followed Tati felt. So we're going to talk about this Instagram in one hot second. But why I understand how people who supported Tati felt. Because when you support someone and really have their presence in your life, and you're like, yes, I really enjoy this person. And our social media stars and reality stars and YouTube personalities, it's a different relationship that you have with them as a viewer, in my experience, than like back in the day when I was like, oh my God, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Okay, we dig it. Like when I was a teen, I was like, oh, Bop magazine was a thing. Like, and that's how you really followed your favorite celebrities, was like these magazine spreads and like Tiger Beat and shit, because I'm old. And that was the interaction. You saw them in a movie and then you saw them in these like magazines, but until MTV came around and started doing like Total Request Live and stuff, you didn't really see the celebrities that you followed in their own personalities all that much. And that's totally changed with the rise of social media, with the rise of influencers, because you get to know your people. Like you get to know the people that you follow and you feel connected to them, I find, in a different way. So when I see people saying in their declarations and things like that, hey, I really liked Tati. I connected with her. And then I saw all this stuff KJ was saying and I couldn't follow her anymore. And like, I was gutted about it. I understand that when you lose the fandom and you're like, I can't support this anymore. And I'm still like mourning that loss and sad about that loss. And it's the same thing we saw with Lorianne's declaration, like the loss of a friend who you thought was your friend. And you're like, I thought this person was my friend. And they're like, I'm not your friend. That's an actual loss. You're just like, what? Did I misread this relationship? Like, I trusted you with information about me I don't trust a lot of people with. I felt that we had a closer connection. And when somebody's like, this happened to me too. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Gentlemen, some of you will know what I'm talking about. But when you're just like, I trusted you with information about me. I trusted you with our relationship. And I thought that we had this relationship. And you're like, no, you've completely misinterpreted this friendship. You're like, oh, like it's still hurtful, even if you misinterpreted it. So I understand why Lorianne was hurt. Like you definitely saw that she was hurt because she trusted someone to do the right thing and they didn't. Same with all of us who are just like, we loved Erika Jayne. And then all of this came out and I'm like, but can I really? Like, can I really? Because like, fine, you're wishing people happy birthday, but are like thinking of making this my online dating profile pic. Thoughts. My thoughts are that this is kind of narcissistic, that there's a lot of victims out there that don't have their money, that your husband's brother is now applying for a conservatorship over him because it looks like there are potentially mental capacity issues. So this feels tone deaf. But passenger shaming digs it. We still love you. Oh, I can't pull this up. I can't. Passenger shaming, I love you. I can't with this. But I get it. But it's why I'm never barefoot on a plane. But for me, I'm just like, I just, it's hard for me. Like watching this stuff on social, and I get like, hey, I'm not addressing any of this. This is still my job. Like I still have to be me. It's just, it's hard for me because there are victims out there dealing with this case and are like, oh, okay, your life's still good. Gucci. Thanks. Over 5K in gifts. I want to, who's paying for the gifts? Who's paying to give away the Gucci bag? Who's paying to give away the iPhone and the Kylie? Like, I've got questions. Who, blue marketing team? Okay. But do you really have this much money to be giving away? Like, this kind of stuff is just, I am sure it was pre-planned. I am sure that it was, that it's a brand deal. I'm sure it is, but it hits different in light of everything that's going on. So we're going to pull up some of those documents. I'm going to give you a quick case brief. So it's just, it's hard for me. And I'm someone who liked following Erika. And I just, it's hard for me. And I'm sure, again, Annie, I'm sure it is a marketing deal, but it's just it's tone deaf right now. And there's a lot going on, but I get that people still have to work. Like I understand it. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't like any of it. So there's, A, there's optics issues there, but B, this case is so tremendously sad for me. And this is where we're at. Like, and then she is getting divorced in the midst of all of this. And I don't know if the divorce is coming because of these mental capacity issues that Tom Girardi's brother's hinting at. But let's give a case brief and get into it so that we all know where we're at with the things. I'm getting texted by my son, who's like, let's see why because mom life. Why am I getting texted? Do you want anything from Chick-fil-A? Well, yes, I do. You know I'm live at 7. Yes, I do. What do we want at Chick-fil-A? Number 8, large iced tea. Like that's what that is. So that's what my son wants to know, but that sounds delicious. Now you know my Chick-fil-A order. At least he didn't ask me to order it for them on the mobile app, because I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because that happens with Ranch. Because Ranch, this will be a court of public opinion. Ranch is the best Chick-fil-A sauce. I don't want anyone to fight with me on that. Ranch is by far the best Chick-fil-A dip. Is it dip? Is it sauce? Dip. All right. Girardi updates. Let's go. Apparently, I get Chick-fil-A for dinner when I'm done with this. I'm very excited. Oh, I didn't even say large fries. Hold on. Those kids are savage. They'll eat my fries. Large fries. So, okay. Passenger Saming said, so there's no way Erika doesn't know. I'm going to cry. We're IG buds. Look, I'm not telling you to cancel anybody. It's just hard for me. It's probably hard for you too. I'm not saying that she knew before this happened. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm saying that at this point, she knows, because she has now been dragged into bankruptcy court. Like, she knows at this point. She has been sued in numerous of these cases. So there are, let's case brief it. Case brief. Tom Girardi, famous big deal lawyer, billions won. Billions with a B. Billions won in civil litigation, settlements, and jury awards. At least tens of millions of dollars outstanding in judgments that have not been paid yet, and in settlements owed to civil clients. He represents civil clients in the toxic tort field. Toxic torts are things like injury from environmental hazards, injury from workplace hazards, injury because your house was built somewhere where there's like toxic fumes coming up from the ground and the city knew and they let them do it anyway, or the water's bad, like in the Aaron Brockovich case, things like that. So people who've been harmed trust their attorney to do the right thing for them, hire the attorney. Attorneys like this get paid on contingency. Contingency means I front your money and then I take your money. Like, I front the bills, but you get paid less. That's what contingency is. But for some plaintiffs, that's the best that they can do, because they could never front the amount of legal fees to bring these cases. It's why a lot of these cases are brought as class actions. You lump the plaintiffs together, it brings the costs down so that the hard costs that are out of pocket are not as much. In one of the filings, it's indicated from the law firm that they can spend up to $10 million on a case before it resolves or goes to trial. Trial fees are different. So when I say some of these are big money cases, they are big money cases. So those fees are fronted by the law firm, generally through a lender. Numerous lenders who do this kind of lending have also sued Tom Girardi and his law firm, Girardi Keys, saying, hey, so you know how we lent you like whatever millions of dollars? Right. We lent you whatever millions of dollars for case A, case Awesome Sauce. Case Awesome Sauce settled, but you didn't pay us, so could you do that? And then the one has emails back and forth of, oh, I misunderstood what you wanted, blah, blah, blah. There are multiple of these lawsuits. What should happen in an ideal world is you take lending on the case, you resolve the case, and then when the case gets resolved, so when you get hundreds of millions of dollars or, $4.98 billion like the Biox settlement, you take the hard costs. Hey, we're going to go with a made-up number. Hypothetical. Law school hypothetical. We resolved a case for $100 million for a class of plaintiffs. 100 plaintiffs. We're going to make it easy. I like round numbers. 50 plaintiffs. Let's make it better. I spent $10 million on the case. The lender fronted $5 million. So I get the $100 million in. $5 million goes to the lender. $5 million goes to fees. We have $10 million that's been paid out. Then you take the attorney portion, which is generally between 30 and 40%, but can be higher based on contract. So then you take out your 30 or 40%. So that's another, 30 million out of the 100 million? Don't embarrass yourself on the internet, Emily. Well, I mean, it's going to happen someday, but $30 million. So that's what, $40 million out of the $100 million. Pay the lender, pay the rest of your fees, pay the attorney portion. The remaining amount just goes to the people. It's not hard. I mean, the accountings are kept through the case. You know what your fee is. So you take the fees out, you take your percentage out, and then the rest goes to the people. It shouldn't be hard. And then the people can ask for accountings. Lenders can ask for accountings, but it really shouldn't be that deep to just dole out the money the way it's supposed to be doled out. What happened in these cases, particularly one case that came to the attention of everybody, the Lions Air case is a Boeing plane crash. The clients in this case are family members of people who perished in that plane crash. So children who have been widowed, people who have lost spouses or other family members. In that case, there is a substantial amount of class plaintiffs that all sued Boeing over this air crash. The Girardi Keese firm did not represent all of the plaintiffs. They represented some of the plaintiffs. And they worked with a local firm, Edelson PC, in Illinois. Like in the Tati Westbrook defamation case, we have Saltsy being the Los Angeles firm, and then there's a Washington firm that's local counsel, and the firms work together to get cases resolved. So what happened in the Girardi case that kind of blew everything into public, in my opinion, the divorce kind of got on the radar, and then this suit came in there and was like, we are coming in hot, honey. We're alleging that the divorce is fraudulent. The Edelson PC case came in with like, yo, we settled this case. Where's the money? Because the plaintiffs don't seem to have gotten paid and nobody's turned over an accounting to us. This should be easy. Oh, and by the way, we haven't gotten paid either. So they allege that the money has been taken fraudulently to provide for an extravagant lifestyle. There's other videos on that whole underlying allegations in that complaint. It's funding the extravagant lifestyle. They allege that there was a $20 million loan from the Girardi Keese law firm to Erika Jayne's production company, EJ Creative. There's all these allegations. The divorce is fraudulent to hide assets, all the things. Maybe that's why she's posting what she's posting on Instagram. Maybe it's like, no, the divorce isn't fraudulent. Maybe that's what maybe it's strategy. Who knows? Building monuments to the gods of speculation with that one, friends. Monuments to the gods of speculation. Maybe that's why she's like, should this be my dating profile shot? See, my divorce isn't fraudulent. I'm ready to get out there. Woo. So in that case, the judge pulled in the other two business partners who have since left the firm, David Lira and this other guy whose last name is Griffin. Lira and Griffin have essentially said in their communications with Edelson PC, hey, Girardi's the one who handles like all the money and all the stuff. Like, not us. We don't handle anything. And we left the firm. The judge is like, you also had an obligation to make sure that this shit got paid. WTF, we'd like to have a chat. The judge in the Illinois case is the one who doesn't play and was like, no, I'm turning this over to the U.S. Attorney's Office for criminal investigations. And I'm going to freeze all your assets because why haven't you paid it out? And in that case, it's like $2 million, which for most of us, like us humans, that's a lot of money. For the way that the Girardis spend their money on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, that's like, how many fucks do I give? It's $2 million. So the judge was like, I don't understand where this money is, because the judge knows it's redacted, but the judge knows how much money Boeing paid to Girardi Keese. So the judges, in my speculation from working with judges, I was a research attorney for civil judges before I was a district attorney. Judges have that information even though it's redacted, and they saw how much Boeing paid to Girardi Keese, and they're like, show me the money. Well, the lawyers for Girardi Keese in that case said, yeah, we have about $15,000 in operating expenses and there's no other money anywhere. And the judge is like, no, that's not acceptable. We're freezing your assets. As that was going down, the divorce was filed. Other lawsuits have been filed. The business partner, Keese, who's retired, sued in 2 different lawsuits on lawsuits. Then all the creditors were like, fuck, man, this judge in Illinois is not playing and he's going to get all the money. Well, whatever money he can get and give it to those Boeing Air plaintiffs. We need to handle this so we get paid too. What, fair, all creditors. So the creditors pulled everything into an involuntary bankruptcy, which is the road so far. That's where this case brief finds us, bankruptcy. And then we're going to just talk a little bit about what the judge has said in the Illinois case. Let's talk bankruptcy first. So in the bankruptcy case, and this all went down literally in like the last 3 days. Let's go to the first docket. See, if you just had the one motion pulled up, it would help. There are 2 involuntary bankruptcy cases. A lot of the things are going along similarly because the bankruptcy cases are against Girardi Keese, the law firm, and against, sorry, my phone rang. It's my kiddo. And if it rings again, I'm going to have to answer it. But against Girardi Keese, the law firm, and against Tom Girardi, the individual. But a lot of the motions and stuff go along together. It's just like, cool. Because he's the one who runs the law firm and he's the one. So, all right. Let's make this. I'm told that we are distracted by the ticker. Thank you, mods, for letting me know. We tried, y'all. All right. Let's pull this up. And then this is distracting to me too. So I'm going to turn, it's too big. Hold on. We're figuring out what we want to do. Why does this feel too big? Let's go with, no, that's way too big. Let's go with that. That works better. All right. This is the motion that was filed by Tom Girardi's brother. Now, the bankruptcy court is a federal judge, and the bankruptcy court does not play at all. Like, when I say federal judges don't play, federal judges don't play. They don't play. So let's do the motion first, and then we'll see what the judge said. The judge got sassy. There's no sassy footnotes, I'm sorry to say. And it's not even highlighted because I didn't pull it up that way. I just read it because it's pretty basic. This is a motion filed on January 13th. That's relevant. To appoint Robert Girardi as debtor. Debtor in this case is Tom Girardi. Debtor's guardian ad litem, and an extension of time to file responsive pleading. Please, Your Honor, please. I need just a little bit more time. And what's funny is bankruptcy court, 28-line paper. When I say all judges do things their own way, you guys are going to get to learn that all judges do things their own way. So this is the brother asking to be appointed as a guardian ad litem. That is someone who can take care of the person's interest in court. Now, they've also indicate later in this that they are going to apply for a conservatorship. We will address a conservatorship down the road. We have talked about conservatorships before in regards to Britney Spears. But this is as kind of a friend of the court. Leonard Pena has not come in as Girardi's attorney yet. He is helping to file this motion. Robert Girardi files this motion for an order pursuant to federal rules of bankruptcy to appoint him, quote, next friend as guardian ad litem for the alleged debtor, Thomas Vincent Girardi, and for 2, an extension of time to file a responsive pleading to the involuntary petitions pending. Involuntary bankruptcy means I have not filed for bankruptcy. All of the debtors have said, nah, you're not going to handle this. We need you to come into bankruptcy. There need to be at least 3 debtors to pull somebody into an involuntary Chapter 7. In this case, there are more than that. And the debtors are like, no, we're not fighting over scraps. It would be, the hyenas in The Lion King when they're all like fighting over scraps. That's what the debtors don't want to happen. They want the court to take all of the assets in, sell them off, and then dole out the money, because at least then they have an order. If they take losses, they have losses. It's easy for them to track. They can deal with it on their taxes, all of the things. So, memorandum and points and authorities. This is talking about why they can file for a guardian ad litem here. For our purposes, not super relevant. So we're just going to get to the declaration because all of this is based on the declaration. So instead of reading it twice, we're just going to do it once. The legal argument, RG should be appointed debtor's guardian ad litem. The debtor is incompetent and unable to act for himself. Proceeding with the involuntary petitions without permitting the debtor to participate would be a terrible injustice and cause him and his law firm unnecessary harm and prejudice. And this goes into the rules for bankruptcy. If an infant or incompetent person has a representative, including a general guardian, committee, conservator, or similar fiduciary, the representative may file a voluntary petition on behalf of the infant, literal child, or incompetent person. An infant or incompetent person who does not have a duly appointed representative may file a voluntary petition by next friend or guardian ad litem. So that means they don't have like a conservator in place yet. They don't have a guardian in place yet. So they're asking to be made one through the bankruptcy court instead of going to another court, having the other court appoint a conservatorship, then coming into bankruptcy court and being like, this other court did some shit. I'm the person. Notice me. To summarize, the court shall appoint guardian ad litem for an infant or incompetent person who is a debtor and is not otherwise represented. He does not have an attorney in this case. He is still pro se, meaning representing himself, or shall make any other order to protect the infant or incompetent person. It talks about the language being shall. It gets into why there should be an extension of time. Notice how short this section is. Whoop. We're just like, this is a very short section. We're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how the lines line up? It makes it really easy. 6, 7, 8, 9 lines of like, hey, the debtor is incompetent, so he can't file this for himself. Please give us an extension of time. Declaration of Robert Girardi. Robert Girardi, brother. I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth below, and if called to testify, I could and would competently testify too. I am the debtor's brother, debtor being Tom Girardi, or the law firm in some cases. I file this declaration in support of the motion to be appointed as my brother's guardian ad litem and for an extension of time to respond to the involuntary petitions. I'm aware that on December 18th, the participating creditors filed 2 involuntary petitions. He lists them. I'm informed and believe that the deadline to file a responsive pleading to the involuntary petitions is January 12th. You know what January 12th is not? January 12th is not January 13th. I've attempted to discuss with my brother how to best respond to the involuntary petitions. Also, there's no arguing you didn't know that this was happening because everyone from the LA Times to New York Times to my ass up on the YouTubes has been talking about this. Every housewives account I follow, and there are many, have been talking about this. Everyone has been talking about this. Everyone has been talking about this. So, I have attempted to discuss with my brother how to best respond to the involuntary petitions, and while at times people with the typos, at times he appears to be aware of the filing of the involuntary petitions, he needs to be reminded often. My brother is incapable of realizing and understanding the repercussions of the bankruptcy filings pending against him and his law firm, Girardi Keese, notwithstanding having explained to him over and over by various people. Furthermore, my brother is not capable of making rational decisions with respect to his financial responsibilities and offers solutions and opinions that are factually impossible. My brother has short-term memory loss. How long has that been going on for? And where is the doctor's note? Often asking me and those around him the same questions over and over. My brother has been unable to engage bankruptcy counsel or respond to the involuntary petitions because he cannot have a reasoned conversation about the multiple legal and financial issues he is facing. Like literally just a few months ago, though, he was signing off on multi-million-dollar settlements for litigants in other cases. I have questions. I have engaged counsel to file a petition in the probate court to be appointed my brother's conservator, a la Britney Spears. I am informed by my attorneys that even on an expedited basis, given the notice requirements, I will not be appointed until sometime at the end of January. Well, we're halfway through. We'll see. Given my brother's current mental capacity, I am willing to assist him in any way possible and in all matters related to his personal matters and the pending bankruptcy proceedings, including but not limited to hiring counsel for him, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but his assets are frozen. So hiring counsel is going to be frustrated by more than just he can't have a conversation with them. Hiring counsel is also going to be frustrated by the fact that his assets are frozen in bankruptcy, and the bankruptcy court's going to have to release money for him to hire an attorney. I am informed and believe that once I am appointed my brother's conservator, I will be able to act on his behalf, including to hire lawyers and other professionals for him that can help throughout the bankruptcy cases. In the present case, I and my brother require additional time to analyze and compile the information needed to respond to the involuntary petitions. Welp. My brother has always been a private person, so I need to familiarize myself with his assets and liabilities. Talk to... Oh, there was going to be more, and then there wasn't. Oh, this is out of order. That's why. No, this is a duplicate page. And gather information relating to his assets. Here we go. Oh, because the signing page got off. Talk to his accountants and gather information related to his assets, liabilities, and multiple legal and personal challenges he is facing. I mean, that's an understatement. I want to do everything necessary to protect my brother's rights, including responding to the involuntary petitions. I think that if he is not allowed to respond, it will have great detriment to him personally and financially. Thus, I respectfully submit. So that was submitted on the 13th, the day after it was due, by Tom Girardi's brother saying, hey, by the way, he doesn't understand. He can't respond. We also saw counsel in the Illinois case say something similar. Here's if he is in his 80s, 81 or 82, I believe, for your average person going through short-term memory loss, going through some type of a mental decline or event due to age or other circumstance, it is something that is tremendously sad. However, he was not very long ago making very big decisions on very large cases. So I will be interested to see if David Lira, his son-in-law, if Griffin or the other attorneys that work in that forum come forward and say, we noticed that. Because this is just his brother saying, this is what I'm seeing, but there isn't a diagnosis. There aren't doctor notes. There isn't other evidence attached, which is why I think the bankruptcy court was like, no, because then we have serious issues in other cases if he was agreeing to settlements without talking to clients, if he was competent to represent clients, if he was competent to be on the stand in his own trials not that long ago, if he was competent to enter into some of the stipulated judgments he entered into. Like, this string, if pulled, unravels a lot of shit. There are a lot of cases here, and now you've got clients who have to be asking, wait, were we getting competent legal advice if they're saying he is so declined that he needs a conservator, so declined that he cannot actually participate in his own representation, but months ago was making very large case decisions? It's going to be a mess. Like, going this avenue is going to be a mess. And whether it's true or whether it's not proven, this is going to create a bigger mess. So the judge, being the judge, was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do. What we're not going to do. So filed and entered January 14th. What we're not going to do up in here is do any of that shit. Nope. The matter is before this court. See how the lines line up? Makes me so happy. This matter is before the court on motion for order 1, appointing Robert Girardi as debtor's guardian ad litem, and 2, extension of time to file responsive motion. A movement seeks an order from the court appointing him as the debtor's guardian ad litem and extending the deadline to file responsive pleading to the involuntary petition from January 12th to and including February 12th. From January 12th to February 12th. The court has reviewed the motion and the attached declaration of Robert Girardi. The motion was filed one day after the January 12th deadline for filing a responsive pleading to the involuntary petition. Due to the debtor's failure to file a timely response to the involuntary petition, the court on January 13th directed the clerk of court to enter an order for relief in this case, meaning we're in full-ass bankruptcy now. We've already entered the order saying, yes, involuntary bankruptcy is the thing. We are on bankruptcy. It's on! The bankruptcy's on! The judge was like, no, it's too late. We already did that shit. Sorry. So then, accordingly, the court hereby orders as follows. Movements request for an extension. I love that it's highlighted. They're like, denied. Denied. Movements request for an extension of the January 12th, 2021 deadline to file a responsive pleading is denied. A hearing on Movement's request for appointment of Robert Girardi as the debtor's guardian will be held on February 16th via Zoom, and then it has all like the Zoom information, which everyone doesn't need up on my channel because I don't want to give out the bankruptcy court's Zoom information, even though it's a public record. I don't think everybody needs it. We're not going to do that. So, 2 motions asking to be appointed because there's 2 different cases. The court is just like, no, a day late and a dollar short. Literally, no, we're not doing this. So we might see his brother appointed as guardian and conservator. That is going to be very interesting as the divorce proceedings go forward. And let me pull up the other part that I wanted to talk about, and then I'm going to get to questions on this case before we move on into defamation. 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 But you guys, it's the implications of the allegations that he is legally incompetent. So court language incompetent. So not mentally capable. And this was hinted at in that Lion Air case. Oof. 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 So I'm looking for the court ruling. There was one court ruling that was very sassy. That I was looking for in the Lion Air case. And where is it? Here we go. This was interesting to me. So, and then we're going to dive into this case more on the podcast because there's 2 declarations from the other lawyers in this case that I'm going to dive into. On December 14th, the court entered a civil contempt. They held Girardi Keese and Tom Girardi in civil contempt and froze the assets of Girardi Keese and Tom Girardi. During a December 16th telephone hearing, the court was informed that several involuntary bankruptcy petitions were being prepared in the Central District and would likely be filed within 48 hours. Upon discussion, the parties agreed with the court that a bankruptcy trustee in the Central District would be best suited to preserve assets and deal with competing claims. That means the order of whose debts get paid first. It is hereby ordered that a judgment of civil contempt is entered and ordered. So they were held in contempt. All assets of Girardi Keese and Tom Girardi are frozen until a trustee is appointed. Girardi assets shall not be used to pay Tom Girardi's living expenses. Savage. And then only upon application to an approval by the trustee. So no, we're deciding that. Until a trustee is appointed, the Girardi assets shall not be used to pay attorney's fees. This is why hiring attorneys is going to be a problem. And then only upon application by the trustee. So even if his brother's appointed conservator, the conservator will not be paid. Attorneys cannot be hired until the bankruptcy court says it's okay. This order memorializes the oral ruling on December 14th. So it is just boom, 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 boom. It is just way, way deep in the assets being frozen. The bankruptcy court has also determined that the marital assets are in fact proper for the bankruptcy court. So when I said that the divorce is going to come second to the bankruptcy, the divorce is going to become second to the bankruptcy because there's one more thing I'm looking for. Because the marital assets, anything purchased during the course of the marriage, the marital assets are going to go into the bankruptcy court and have to be divided up. So let me, I don't see it. The motion to enforce the contempt order. Is that what I was looking for? Nope. That was the one with Erika selling the clothes, and I'm not seeing it, which means it's going to have to be on the podcast too. Darn it. That's okay. Oh, we're at like an hour and 9 minutes in, so I'm going to answer some questions. Let me look real quick. I think that was the only one. That's the sealing order. There are so many motions in this case, you guys. It's wild. It's just wild. Nope, this was it. It was the beginning of the declaration that I was looking for. So this is the reply in support of the verified motion for rule to show cause. This is filed by Edelman PC, and we'll get into the whole meat of it on. Yes, I just want to double check that this is Edelson's. Yes. But Edelson kind of laid out what the court said a little bit in the Illinois case, and I thought it was fascinating. So in its closing remarks on December 22nd, 2020 status conference regarding the ongoing contempt proceedings that were initiated against Tom Girardi, David Lira, and Keith Griffin, the court expressed some thoughts as far as to whether Lira and Griffin, knowing that Girardi had failed to pay plaintiffs, in accordance with the court's orders, should have done something to ensure that the court's orders were carried out. Specifically, the court stated, and this is the court's statement, couple of thoughts. My order requiring a transfer of monies paid by Boeing to clients as soon as practicable. After the Boeing money was transferred, it didn't call for installment payments, which is ridiculous. The money should have gone to the clients immediately. Yeah. So I think an issue that needs to be addressed, whether it's in reply or addressed at the hearing by attorneys for Mr. Griffin and Mr. Lira, the son-in-law, is that they're knowing of non-payment. So they want the attorneys, for those attorneys, to address that their knowing of non-payment gave them an obligation to do something more than what they did. Like, were they obligated to come to the court and be like, yo, shit's problematic? I realize there's a fair amount of, I don't want to say finger pointing, but a fair amount of pointing to Mr. Girardi as someone who controlled the account, but do Mr. Griffin and Mr. Lira as attorneys, one of whom, Mr. Griffin, I believe, had an appearance in this case, have an obligation to make sure the court order is carried out, because undoubtedly the court order was not carried out. And this gets into the fact that now Edelson PC brought forth evidence that, in fact, David Lira and Keith Griffin, is it Keith, Kenneth, dude by the last name of Griffin, Keith Griffin, had signing assets or signing rights on the client accounts. So now the contempt motions are also going forward with regard to the other attorneys in the firm, how much they knew and how much they were obligated to protect those clients. I am very, very interested to see what the court says about the other attorneys in the firm, because right now the court's right. They're all going, he was the one in charge. And the court's like, no, there are other attorneys in the room. Y'all have to make sure it gets done. I will be fascinated to see how the court rules with regard to those attorneys' duties to protect the clients. I really, really want to see that. So let's get in to questions. Look, I'm going to edit it so it's not a ticker. I'm going to make it not a ticker. We don't like the ticker. I've heard you loud and clear, law nerds. I get it. It's distracting. Questions. Let's get into Girardi questions. Okay, let me go back through the chat and look at some Girardi questions, and let's go. All right. Hello, Kimberly. Where can I go to look at membership choices? Go to Law Nerds Unite and it will pop up the three different choices for that. Lily Dream, no, we're getting to it next. Thank you for all the new people who have joined as members. I'm going to try to sweep some of the questions that I see up on the top and make sure I get them. Kaylee said it's snowing in Nashville. I know I can't see it from my window because it's so dark, but I got the alert. Julie Virgo said love from me and my mom in Scotland. Julie, I loved your little voice note on Twitter today. It was so fun. It was really fun to hear you speaking. I love a Scottish accent. So thank you for that. Kimberly said, oh, Kimberly, I got that one. All right, let me go and look at some of the questions in the chat before we move on. Oh, Janelle, thank you so much. Your comment caught my eye. I've been thinking about walking away from my desk job, and this inspired me even more. Thank you so much for those kind words. You've got it. Pick your words, work towards it. I think there's a video on this channel about the steps I took to leave my job. So it's in there. Alyssa said this just got super interesting. Yeah, there's so much in the Girardi case. So Erika's, and that's why I've seen a lot of reports in the pop culture reality TV reporting sphere that Bravo has been asked to turn over all video with regard to Erika. I have not seen a court order. I've seen reporting that has happened. But if that's happened, and I speculated on this a few shows ago when we talked about this, if that's happened, it's going to be to try to get visual proof of what was in the house, what was presented on TV, what was in the closet, part to say, has anything gone missing that should go into bankruptcy, and part in case to make sure they're being truthful. Because now what's happening in the bankruptcy cases, they're in full ass bankruptcy. Like, it was an involuntary petition. You had from the December date to the 12th to file a response. You didn't file a response, bankruptcy. Like, you in bankruptcy now, bitch. That's what's happening. So now they have a very limited amount of time to start turning over information about their assets. The bankruptcy court also just appointed a number of accountants and specialty accountancy firms to start handling the monies in the bankruptcy case and start digging through all of the creditors, the claims. They are going to need all flying fucking fleets of accountants in that case. Flying fleets of accountants. So let me see if we've got some questions. Lawyers suing lawyers sounds so complicated. It's like lawyers suing lawyers with then other lawyers defending the lawyers, and getting a bunch of lawyers in a room. When I worked in juvie, I had a case. Sorry, my footstool is like not working on my knee this evening. I had a case when I was in juvenile that had 11 minors and 3 adults. So 14 people involved, and each of them had their own attorney. Trying to set court dates and trying to coordinate that amount of people and that amount of lawyers into one space was a herding cat's nightmare of epic proportions. So when you're talking about this bankruptcy case, you have lawyers who have sued Tom Girardi in the bankruptcy case. Those lawyers have lawyers that represent them. And then in the federal case, you have lawyers representing lawyers, and then lawyers representing lawyers who are suing other lawyers. It's so many lawyers. Like, it's so many lawyers. They're going to run out of lawyers that they can find that don't have a conflict on the case. And we will get to conflict and what conflicts are when we talk about Lorianne. Because conflicts can be complicated, but it's also fundamental. So just because it's complicated doesn't mean it's not fundamental. Does Erika need her own attorney? Shits and giggles. I love that. Does Erika need her own attorney? So Erika is in a precarious spot with regard to the bankruptcy, in my opinion, because she's not represented. She's not a debtor. She is not pulled into this yet. It is bankruptcy against Tom and bankruptcy against his law firm, but her assets are on the hook because they're marital assets, and the marital assets are getting pulled in. So her shit is going to get pulled in as the spouse, but she doesn't have representation because she's not the debtor, which is putting her, I would think, in a precarious spot. The bankruptcy trustee also has the right to sue her company. So if the allegation in the Edelson PC lawsuit is true, because they're allegations, if the allegation is true that Girardi Keese loaned Erika Jayne's company, EJ Creative, $20 million, you can bet your ass that the lawyers for the bankruptcy trustees are going to sue EJ Creative inside of bankruptcy to get back that $20 million as best they can. So she'll have representation in that for her company if that happens. But as an individual, and this might have been why, if she saw the writing on the wall or attorneys saw the writing on the wall, they're like, get divorced fast so that at least you get your assets and get out. It wouldn't have stopped her company from being sued, and it might not so close in time have stopped her from getting sued by bankruptcy to bring back in the marital assets. But that's like not a sure thing. But the divorce is going to be like, no, you can't divide up marital assets. Maybe they'll let them get divorced, but the marital assets won't be divided up. No, you can't perfect a divorce until the assets are settled. So they can't get divorced until the bankruptcy is done, unless she agrees to let the bankruptcy court handle the marital assets and just in name be detached, because the marital assets are now in the bankruptcy, but she's not the debtor, so she doesn't have a right to counsel in that. So it's sad. If the allegations with regard to mental capacity are true, there are a lot of clients out there, and I want to have empathy for Tom Girardi. It is anyone who's had a loved one who has memory issues, who has beginning stages of, and this is not to say this is a thing that he has, but who have dementia and Alzheimer's and other mentally impactful illnesses. It's tremendously stressful and sad, and I want to have empathy. However, there are clients who have not been taken care of. So I have awareness that this is probably hard for him and Erika, but I have more empathy for the clients who trusted him and his law firm to do the right thing, and the right thing was not done. The right thing was not done. So, question, not related to this combo. That's okay. Sometimes we love a good unrelated question. Interested to know if you're still collecting ad revenue from the December 29th video for the Community Resource Center. If so, I'll keep playing it. I am still collecting ad revenue. Don't just keep playing it on loop though, because YouTube will then flag it and I won't get the ad revenue on it, because YouTube's very particular with how bots work and bots and ad revenue, and it's tracked to IP address. But yes, I am still collecting ad revenue on that. So what I intend to do is go back and check on that monthly, update it in the community tab, and let you guys know how much more we will able to donate for Community Resource Center. But thank you for bringing that up. We've done over $3,200 so far, and I look forward to the end of the month to do more. Jesse Cat, can Erika just dip on her husband that is mentally unwell? I mean, she is. What we don't know is if he really is mentally unwell. Sue A, question, if he is found incompetent, what would the next steps be for the case? Then he would have a guardian to represent his interest. That person would work with his attorney in the bankruptcy case, and they would keep going forward with the bankruptcy case. Like, it's not going to change the bankruptcy. The bankruptcy is going to still go forward. It's the point of having those guardians and the point of having that representation is to have someone represent your interest in court and to kind of be the go-between to help explain the processes to you. If, again, there are no medical records attached, the brother doesn't indicate that he in any way has an expertise. If he had an expertise, he would have listed it. If he was a doctor or a lawyer, he would have listed it. We don't know what expertise the brother has other than his own experience that he's attesting to in a sworn declaration. So we will see. But if that's the case, he shouldn't have been taking clients. And it does look like all the other attorneys in his firm dipped. But if he was struggling with mental capacity issues, the other attorneys shouldn't have dipped. They should have told the court, he's refusing to turn over the money and we have capacity worries. Then the court could have stepped in and something could have been done before the money disappeared. Because you want to do it before the shit's out of the horse. And they didn't seem to do that. So thank you, Jake's Baby Cakes. Absolutely. We do not speculate. We just discussed. So Little Red Star said, question, if he was allegedly incompetent, who was in charge of making all the financial decisions for the firm and at home? And if not him, then who would allegedly be doing so? So the other attorneys in this case said he was the one in charge of making all those decisions for the firm and that they don't know what was done. That's why this is such a bowl of worms, because he was making the decisions, but he has an obligation to clients. But do the other attorneys have an obligation to say something when something's going on? Mess. It's a mess. What about EJ's earnings now? So Shelly, I don't know how she handles her finances and all the things. presuming how I would do things if it were me, it's not, but if it were, or if I was an attorney setting up an influencer style business, which I have experience in doing, I would have her run all her earnings through EJ Creative. If EJ Creative gets sued in the bankruptcy court for $20 million, then her earnings can be on the hook through her company because her company got a $20 million loan for the law firm that's now in bankruptcy. So her earnings are going to be very important because her company could be on the hook if that loan is true. Her company could be on the hook. So the brother is just trying to save his money so he can get his hands on it. I don't know about that. We don't know the situation. We know what's alleged, but at the end of this, there's a crater. There's no money at the end of this for anyone. Hopefully there's enough money in this for the clients who haven't gotten paid, and then for the companies that haven't gotten paid. That's exactly what this is. So I'm just hoping that will get taken care of. People are saying, I believe the brother is a dentist. Oh, well, I'll ask my husband. I'm like, do you know? From Facebook. Thank you, Sandra, from Facebook. Robert Girardi is a dentist in Steel Beach. Well, some level of expertise, because I'm not going to sit up here and say dentists aren't doctors, but also not generally experts in mental health, but he didn't put it in there. So look, the Girardi case is frustrating. It's infuriating what's happened to these clients, and it is absolutely sad. The ancestors, look, I've seen a lot of speculation on this too. He's not incapacitated. He doesn't want to go to jail. I mean, also he's in his 80s and it's COVID, so they aren't really putting people in jail who are at COVID risk at this point. But we're a couple years away from that if the U.S. Attorney's Office moves quickly on his case, because the forensic accounting on this case is going to take quite a bit of time to find where that money is. So we're 2 or 3 years away on a criminal case. I mean, maybe a little bit faster if the U.S. Attorney's Office has the capacity to bring in the accountants and if the bankruptcy court's working with them. But from the time that they get all the evidence, we're maybe a year away from that case. So we'll see how the U.S. attorneys get on it. You know, the U.S. Attorney's Office loves going after the housewives. Bonnie, thank you for sharing your experience. Bonnie says, I work in dementia aged care and it's heartbreaking for us as well as family. The statements by the brother, if true, sound like what I hear from family every day. And that's my personal experience as well. And there's going to be speculation on both sides. There's going to be speculations on both sides of this. If the brother's statement is genuine and that's what they're experiencing, and maybe that's why Erika was like, I can't do this anymore. Or if, but that doesn't strike me. But again, it's, how do you say that doesn't strike me as the kind of person she is based on what I've seen on Real Housewives? Like, Jesus, really? It just doesn't strike me as she would just, if she really was trying to take care of him, that she would just bounce, because on Housewives, she seemed very, very devoted to him. And if he was struggling like this, it feels out of character for her to just be like, I'm out. So something doesn't sit right with me. I guess we will see. If we're going to get to court of public opinion tonight, we're going to have to move on. We're going to have to move on. The light. We're going to have to move on to Lori Ann's declaration. So because we're already at an hour and 28 minutes, start hitting me with your questions about the Lori Ann declaration. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of my thoughts on it, because we've all read it. We have all been here. We have been riding for this declaration. So start hitting me with your questions for that. I'm just going to roll into that topic with questions, and then we are going to do court of public opinion. So let's roll. Oh, for everyone who's like, what is the lip gloss? It is my Girard Cosmetics lip gloss. It has a mirror, which is what I'm looking at now on the back. # not an ad, but there is an affiliate link down below. This color is pink frosting. It is sheer, but it is still pink. I dig it. Judy asked, question, what's the most I'm going with reasonable reaction B, to get him evaluated by a physician and have a medical professional give an evaluation. Wouldn't the most reasonable reaction? Yes, Judy, it would. The probate court can do that if they move to get him a conservator. So Jen Girard's absolutely does have a light. So yes, there's a light. There's a lip. Yes, y'all shook. I was shook too. But look, you can okay, and then I'll stop girling out, but you can look in the mirror and it lights up your lips perfectly. Jen Girard is a smart woman. And this is what all of us ladies need. Not that I'm ever going to be back in the club again. I mean, but I might be in Vegas again at some point. And then you can just when it's dark at dinner at the steakhouse, because I'm not going to be reapplying lip gloss at the club ever. We're just reapplying lip gloss up on the YouTubes. So there's a link in the bio and the mods can share the link. Thank you, Mila. Thank you, Tech. Okay. Switching topics. I need a little I'm working on it. Okay. Let's pull up that declaration again. Start hitting me with your KJ questions. As I say every time we dive into this, I understand that KJ is a polarizing figure up here on the YouTubes. Look, we are not going to besmirch. We are not going to talk about her. We are talking about the things like what you can do as a witness. We can talk about what we've seen, what we've heard, what they've done. Okay? We're keeping it to seen, heard, done. We're not speculating on mental state. What was she thinking? Any of that. We are going to go with see, heard, done, which means things on the social medias are kind of fair game with that. Seen, heard, done. Those are the things we're sticking to because this is not a hate fest for anybody. We're not doing that. That's not what the law nerds do. That's fuckery. Hate fest is fuckery. We're here for facts. But seen, heard, did, facts. Because fact, you said this on Twitter. Fact. Why you said it or what you were thinking when you said it, not facts. Speculation. Where is this? All right. Tati Westbrook. The amount of folders I have. I mean, people are like polarizing. I didn't say problematic. I said polarizing. Polarizing. Defamation suit. Where is the plaintiff's documents folder with the Lori-Ann declaration? Where is it? Where is my precipice? I'm letting I'm strategically letting your comments and questions come in as I look for this precipice because I have it in here somewhere. I just don't remember where I put it. It's in here. It's not highlighted, and that's my own fault. No, precipice. It's not done. I have it in here probably at the bottom. It probably is at the bottom. Nope. Where did I put it? There are so many things that have been filed by plaintiff in this case. And I pulled it up directly from Pacer last time. And that's why I'm not seeing it. Where is my precipice? Did I put it in the wrong place? Possibly. See, this is what happens when you're not prepared. That's the other. There's two precipices. That's the other one. Ew. All right, give me 1 sec. Let me pull it just directly up. Fun. Good job, Emily. Anyway, now we get the questions. Brittany asked a great question. Once COVID is over, can we have a Law Nerds cruise? We can do all the Law Nerds things. I will definitely be mindful of the people who are who get motion sick. We will absolutely do some Law Nerd in-person meetups and stuff like that. It's going to happen. We all have to get together in person because y'all are great and I appreciate you. So, all right, let me reopen this. All right. Declaration of Lori-Ann. So yes, we will have to get together in person. Yes, we are moving on. Thank you to Lori-Ann's declaration. Though we did, to be fair, answer some questions before we got into it. I tried to keep it concise, but we bookended it, is what happened. Based on Lorianne's declaration, can KJ lose her channel because she broke TOS, especially with Saltz's affirmation affiliation with YouTube lawyers? Minnie Mouse, thank you for asking this. So for those of you who are like, what are you talking about, Saltz's affiliation? Saltzy, we know Saltzy's on the Hubbard case. We know he represents the company for Ryan's Toy Review. In the Hubbard case, which we haven't had a chance to break down yet because I need everyone else in their cases to settle down so we can break down the Hubbard case. The Hubbard case is essentially a Children's Online Privacy Protection Act case where a mother and a class of mothers are suing YouTube and Google and a whole bunch of channels. So the heads of YouTube litigation and the heads of Google litigation are in a defense group with Saltzy on that case based on his representation of Ryan's Toy Review, which we know because he just like influencered it into a footnote in one of his declarations saying, I'm well familiar with YouTube because I represented the most popular YouTube in whatever year, and we all Googled it. It was Ryan's Toy Review. And then we pulled up the Hubbard case and it was Ryan's Toy Review. And we're like, I see what you did there. Like that was a low-key footnote flex is what it was. But because he's in a defense group, that means he has regular and consistent interaction with those attorneys. And what do you talk about with other attorneys? Work, shit. I also think, and I saw a brief statement from Sherelle's World, and I didn't see anything. If Little Red, y'all put out anything, I didn't see it. But the two channels that were specifically called out in this, I can't imagine that those channels wouldn't take this, off of the internet because it's available, because it's linked on Twitter by I'm freaking raking. But I can't imagine people wouldn't take this, go to YouTube and be like, what are we doing about this? I told you my channel got mass flagged because I'm imagining that they reported it when it happened. This is now confirming that that was done and targeted by this other channel. Or if those channels have attorneys calling their attorneys and being like, no. So do I think that that could be potential? I do think that's a big issue. I think that it's something to be concerned about and conscientious of. I do. I think it's a problem. So yeah, it's a clear violation of terms of service. What YouTube will do... So since KJ's attorney offered to work for Lorianne for free, who do you think is paying her fees since she probably can't afford her own, let alone Lorianne's too? I don't know what she can or can't afford. I do know on Twitter she said she made more money on YouTube than me. So there's that. But I imagine that the attorney said that and said, I will handle that because he would like to do it in a way that's beneficial to his case. So the hours of work were worth and weighed the benefit. So I don't know if it goes to whether someone else, and I know that's speculation in this case, I've wondered myself. I don't know if it goes as much to, is someone else paying these legal fees, as it goes to, they wanted to secure this witness on their side. And if they knew all of this, this is why they were like, if Lorianne told Saltz all of this is why they were like, no, we don't want that information out there before this jurisdiction argument. Just a case brief on this. Lorianne's declaration comes in the middle of this motion to dismiss. Sorry, the booch. With this motion to dismiss that's based mostly on jurisdiction. KJ and her company, Without a Crystal Ball, are arguing there's not enough contacts with the state. There's not enough shit in the state of Washington to make Washington have jurisdiction over us. Tati Westbrook's side is continuing to argue, yes, you have enough stuff. Yes, you've had enough contacts. Yes, you've derived income. And now you have an agent of your company in the state. And this agent is doing actions on behalf of your business in the state of Washington, which I think is one of their strongest arguments. And for YouTubers everywhere, I think all of us are like, okay, well, this is the argument we like best for plaintiff because a lot of us have viewership and subscribers all over the world and sure don't want that to be enough for us to get sued somewhere. So for me, I hope when the judge rules on this, if they rule in favor of jurisdiction, that what we see is a breakdown of what factors mattered to this judge. Was it that there were paying members there? Was it that the harassment was targeted at Tati Westbrook, and there's videos showing that KJ knew she lived in Washington, knew the harm would be experienced in Washington. Is that enough? Or is it now having this ride or die agent in Washington? And is that the thing that's the tipping point? Hey, I was asked to do these things by her. I did these things by her. These things were upholding her reputation in the midst of her getting kind of slammed on the internet for other shit. And upholding business reputation allows the business to keep going to do the alleged defamatory things. So I'll be very interested to see what the judge will do. Will this be ruled on now? God, Shaylin, I fucking hope so. Does it mean plaintiff might not try to file something to try to strike this? No. I think at some point the court is going to set a hearing and be like, what are you all doing? Why, children? Why are we fighting? Because all I've seen are filings all the fucking time. What are you all doing? That's going to happen. I don't think there is anything. I have not pulled the docket today, but I don't think there's anything on the docket today. I turned off my docket alerts because we're going into the weekend and I don't want to know. Sometimes I just don't want to know. So let me log in real quick and see. But we'll see. We'll see if there's anything on the docket. So it should be ruled on pretty soon. Where is my pull up Westbrook? Pull up. This is why we just do these things contemporaneously. Pull up the docket, see if anything new has happened. You guys can all see it while I see it. Let's just take a look. Nope, this precipice is the most recent thing. So these are the most recent things that have happened. This is the stipulated order with regards to discovery. This is the surreply on 1-9, and then 1-13, we got this precipice. So nothing yet, but I will keep you guys posted on that. The judge can either rule on the papers or call them all in and ask WTF is even happening here, which I'm sure will happen at some point in this case. There will be a conference call. So I hope it will be ruled on soon. Let's see. I see you guys saying hi to Little Red, so we'll see. Somebody was saying, did KJ seek out a specific resident of Washington to do her bidding in this? I don't know. I don't know if this was KJ seeking out somebody in Washington or if this was her ride or die on the internet who happened to be in Washington saying, I knew she was in Washington. Though, let me tell you, the amount of DMs I have gotten, not just DMs, but texts on the text crew of people saying, KJ has asked me to do things in my state for her. If that has been your experience, you are not alone. I've also gotten quite a lot of messages of people saying, this is how I was treated, very similar to how Lori-Ann was treated, and I felt some kind of way about it too. I get it. There are more than a few of those stories, and more than a few of the stories that KJ would ask people who were supporters or subscribers that have been relayed to me, that she said, hey, you're in this state. I'm looking at this thing. Can you look at this thing? So I would not be surprised if that happened. Does KJ's side have any options to file anything in response to the Salty filing? I mean, we're supposed to be done with litigation motions, but they filed an opposition. They have a right to address this. Now, whether the court will be friendly with that strategically, I would not address it unless the court wanted it addressed. I would probably reach out, like me, I would reach out to the court clerk and be like, if the judge wants us to respond to this, please let us know and we will respond to it. Because it's essentially more of the same, but the agency argument is very, very interesting to me. Like, the agency argument's very interesting, but I also think part of the strategy in this was, one, it seemed that Lori-Ann was very concerned with the other Lori-Ann who works for DOT to not be getting harassed based on her own behavior. So like Lori-Ann's like, hey, Maybe I haven't been super great to everybody up on the Twitters. I'm not saying I have been, but I'm also saying I don't want this other person with my same name to be getting called at work because now it's in a court document that they think it might be me. So I think that Salty had to file this. I also think that there are some choices made by Mr. Brown that I do not understand and I will not understand. This is a declaration. The quotes in this declaration are based off of email. And some of the quotes that are the most problematic are oh, by the way, could you just say you felt harassed? Y'all, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about conflict just real quick. I'm going to control F myself real quick. And we're going to look for that quote. Let's see. This is one of the things that was really, really, really fucking problematic for me. Like, we're not even just at problematic. We're like fucking problematic. Not only does Lori-Ann say she was asked to sign a declaration sheet separate from the declaration so the declaration could be adjusted later. Now, whether the context of the conversation where this can be adjusted later so that we can fix any typos, or whether it was like, no, if we need to, we'll just adjust it later. Go ahead and sign it. I don't know. Normally, you would want someone to read through the entire final version of the declaration and then sign it and then send it. It's not uncommon to have detached signature sheets so you can scan it to someone, have them sign it and scan it back, especially when we're dealing with distance and digital. But you would generally expect that they would read the entire thing and say, yes, because you're signing it under penalty of perjury. Yes, this is accurate. And Lori-Ann said in her declaration, she was getting bad vibes about that. So I did not feel comfortable with Mr. Brown wanting me to sign a declaration stating that I was threatened by Mr. Saltz when Mr. Saltz had not threatened me, nor have I ever told Mr. Brown that Mr. Saltz threatened me. Specifically, Mr. Brown stated, now remember in their footnote, they said these things are stated in emails and they would provide the emails to the court. Quote, we are filing something today to address the threat Saltz made. It's so weird to not say Saltzy. So if I say Saltzy, it's because that's our name. Recently made to you. It would be great if you would state that you took it as a threat and felt intimidated. That is directly instructing a witness what to say. You cannot fucking do that. This is there are things in here that are problematic and there's delicious tea in all of this, but this is the most problematic for me. Yes, I think there's conflict issues here, big conflict issues, but I think that this directly instructing a witness what to say in their declaration is a huge problem that is going to have to be addressed. Because I imagine what we will get from Saltzy's side as this gets closer to trial is, well, Your Honor, we already have a declaration saying he was instructing the witnesses. So I'm going to need to question every single witness in deposition about what the conversations were with Mr. Brown, about what he told them, about if he instructed them to say anything, because we already have a declaration showing that he is instructing a witness saying, it would be great if you would state you took it as a threat. You can ask someone how they took something. You cannot tell them, it would sure be great if you'd go ahead and say this thing that you've already told me is not true. Y'all, never, ever should a lawyer tell you what to say. They can ask you questions. Did you feel this way? No. Okay. Did you take it this way? No. Okay. Hey, you need to state that you're over the age of 18. There are things you put in a declaration where you take their story and put it into legal, but you don't put words in their mouth, and you sure as fuck don't tell them what to say. In an email. She says it's in an email. So no, we don't have context, but that sentence, I don't care what the context is. That sentence should never, ever, ever come out your fucking mouth. Ever. You don't tell witnesses what to say. You ask people what they experienced, you put it into lawyer language, and you let the truth will out. I also think Lori-Ann was pissed that they knew before they filed their reply to the opposition, KJ knew it was the wrong Lori-Ann and they didn't address it. And I think she was mad about that. And KJ also threw her under the bus, and I think she was hurt about that, as anyone would be. So this is hugely problematic to me. With regards to conflict, attorneys conflict check cases to make sure that they do not have a client that's in direct conflict with another client they may take. Because Lori-Ann indicates that they offered her representation, that means she is also their client. So they have to do what's in her best interest. But when her best interest and KJ's best interest collide, it is a conflict. And I think in this case, in Lori-Ann's perspective, based on her declaration, her best interest is just turning this shit over, answering the subpoena, and getting out of this case. It's clear that she said in this declaration that's what she wanted. But it was in KJ's best interest to delay her involvement so that Saltz didn't know how much of an agent Lori-Ann was to KJ. That means that KJ's best interest gets put above Lori-Ann's best interest, which is a conflict. And I don't think it's a waivable conflict. Some conflicts are waivable, but there's no indication that Brown even tried to explain to Lori-Ann that it might be in her best interest to answer this, because Lori-Ann said, fuck, I don't care, subpoena me, just give him access to my Twitter. I don't want anything to do with this. So clearly Lori-Ann's stated desires are fix that it's the wrong person, just turn over my Twitter and let me go. I do not want to be involved in this. And KJ's best interest is, can we hold up on this until after the motion? Because having an agent in the state is on another level. It's on another level in this discussion of personal jurisdiction, and it might change it. I've seen, and you guys have shared with me, and I think Uncivil's in the chat too, but you guys have shared with me that there was conversation about, well, what if KJ didn't know she was in Washington? What if she forgot that she was in Washington? And I've been asked about that on social quite a bit. But for me, it doesn't matter if KJ forgot, because her company's also being sued and her company has presumed knowledge. So even if it's like KJ didn't know, but then the company knows. So if the company knows, then she as the head of the company knows, because she has the knowledge as the head of the company. So if she as the individual being sued forgets, the company is still going to have presumed knowledge based on the fact that the subscribers are there and the company has access to all of that, and based on the fact that that was communicated to the company. So this is the thing, when you're also the head of a company, you have to know that your company sometimes will have more knowledge than you do, even if it's just you, because it's presumed knowledge. So I don't think with regard to, oh, I didn't know she lived there. Well, she's an agent of the company and the company has presumed knowledge of where all its agents are. I think if they argue this declaration, it's going to be hard for them to overcome the agency when it comes to the LLC particularly. And then once there's jurisdiction over the LLC, there's going to be jurisdiction over KJ herself. So yeah, things are getting messy. I think so too. Can they get KJ's analytics? At some point that will happen. Absolutely. It's relevant. So at some point that will happen. I'm going to go back and try to check stuff up. And then we are going to get into court of public opinion. I just want to get a few more of these questions because we went really long on the Girardi stuff, though we did answer KJ stuff at the beginning as well. Can KJ be deplatformed for telling Lori-Ann to flag channels? I think that it would be abuse of the system from my perspective, because you can't direct people to mass flag channels. I have seen other channels clipping video clips of her telling, no, go report them. I think there's a lot there for the channels who are named in this particularly to take to YouTube and say, seriously? I think at some point YouTube's going to have to address this whole situation, because it's a whole situation. But abusing the reporting system and a creator abusing the reporting system should be dealt with by YouTube for sure. Yes, Ali, it is an exhausting lawsuit. So I've heard of pro bono work for defense work, but not for YouTube fuckery. ABC reading, it's true. I can see an attorney saying, hey, this declaration's beneficial to us. We will take care of this declaration for you. I don't think that would be surprising. So we have over 5,600 law nerds up on the YouTubes. So for those of you watching on the YouTubes, which is most of you, it's time to remind you of a thumbs up. Question: Salty posted about how long they spent with Lorianne and her sharing documents in Twitter. Is her declaration considered fact, or can it be torn apart if it goes to trial? So it's a declaration. It is the statements of a person. It has not been examined by the other side. It has not been examined for context. It's an allegation. All the things in this are allegation. We've seen, like, if we took all of KJ's declarations as fact, it's like one declaration contradicts the other declaration. It, y'all, I don't know what just happened. Sorry. If you're having issues, I don't know why that just buffered, but if you're having issues, go ahead and you refresh. I'm not going to refresh because it'll boot me out. So, I see the chat saying hi to Little Red. Hello, Little Red. We're talking about your channel and the fuckery that abounds. So, if I got distracted, if this goes to trial, I don't know how relevant the Lorianne declaration will become. It's highly, highly relevant for the jurisdictional motion because the argument is Lorianne is an agent of the company, essentially. She's doing her bidding and she's in Washington. It's just like Amazon has to pay taxes where they deliver packages, even if the headquarters of the company's in Washington. They still have to pay taxes in California. They have agents of their company in California. It's like law firms with multiple offices. It's like if you have an employee in one state, sometimes you have to pay taxes there. You have agents and connections to other states because you have people doing work on your behalf. So you now have an individual and a company with somebody in Washington. So that is a more direct content or contact to the state of Washington than before. Will this be relevant in the heart of the defamation suit? It just depends on how things shake out. Because in the heart of the defamation suit is, did KJ say the shit? Is the shit that was said defamatory? Is the shit that was said not true? And that's really the heart of it. So the other YouTube fuckery goes a lot to jurisdiction, but it doesn't go to whether, is it true that the things that were said about James Westbrook are true? That's different. So could this come up later? Maybe. Will it? I don't know. So I didn't see Salty's tweet about that. Question: could the judge dismiss a lawyer for unprofessional behavior in this way? I've not seen, a judge can do a lot of things. I can see a circumstance where you would see one attorney saying, if we're going to move forward with this case, another attorney from the firm has to come in. I'm still not clear whether this law firm and Mr. Brown have been hired for a limited purpose or not. Because it's a jurisdictional motion, they haven't come in for the entire case. They could still be hired for a limited purpose just through the jurisdiction motion and not through trial. So I'm still not sure. So we'll see. Let me see. What else? We probably, Kathy, there are some weird things that have been said on Twitter. We kind of keep moving about them. So Abigail, doesn't the court have the discretion as to whether to consider the affidavit because it wasn't really filed as of right, but rather as a supplement? It was filed as a precipe because it hadn't come to light. So the judge will decide how much weight to give it, but the precipes under the local court rule that was cited should be considered because it's like, hey, this didn't come to our attention until this time, and this is additional information that you have to know because it regards to this lawyer. Elizabeth Becker, it's always good advice, and it's most lawyers' first go-to. So, question: does the Tati versus KJ lawsuit set precedent as far as nudging YouTube to intercede before it gets to this point in the future? I think it depends on how it shakes out. I just think it depends on how it shakes out. there's a lot of stuff on YouTube that they're cracking down on. We're also going to see how the debate about what platforms are responsible for regarding speech on their platforms, we'll see that. But if YouTube's perspective, and so far it seemed to be, we enforce our TOS, but other stuff we wait till it shakes out, then they need to show that they're enforcing their terms of service. And in this case, we'll see if they do that. Defamation is a violation of terms of service, but they generally wait until there's a court ruling, because you can say things are defamatory and they're not proven to be defamatory. You can say that was a defamatory statement. Yeah, but no. So I get that YouTube can't just say this is defamatory, this is harassing, and they want to hear a court say that. But YouTube sure is quick to kick people off if they're like showing too much of their skin. So we'll see. YouTube is a mystery to me in the way that they enforce some of their terms of use. Chronically B Queen B, I don't know when they will go to court. If the court decides to rule on the papers, then they won't be in court just yet. So let me see. Yes, EM, we talked about that. They can get analytics. That will come as part of discovery. Discovery won't start in this case by stipulation until after the motion to dismiss based on jurisdictions ruled on. Thank you, Tara. 2.7 thousand likes and 55. We're now at 5,600 watching. Smash the like button. I'm going to sweep 2 more questions and then we're going to move to court of public opinion. I did start late, but it's going to be twinkle, twinkle time. So we're going to move to court of public opinion. Cindy, we haven't discussed this week's court of public opinion yet. Here's what I want for court of public opinion. This is what I want to see happen. Nat, thank you so much. New merch is dropping this month. It's not done yet. I am trying to keep up. So court of public opinion started last week by a super chat when someone asked in a brilliant way, and I need to go back and look so I can shout them out, but asked, is a hot dog a sandwich? And we had just such a fun little debate about it that I was like, I want to do this again. And today I asked the members of the channel to kind of give me some input on questions they would want. And one of the questions asked sparked a chord with me because it's a debate that's been going on my house because of a creator that I watch. I don't know if any of you watch Christine Snaps. She is a fantastic creator. She is a TikToker. She's also here on YouTube and she is on Instagram. She is fucking funny. She has a lazy eye. She has a car that she calls a piece of crap. She is just such a fun creator to watch. And she posed this question, and it was very similar to questions that I received. So we're going to do almost a little bit of a 2-party question because I'm going to queue up her video so that we can talk about what she said, because this question has kind of 2 variants. And so we're going to court of public opinion it. Then I'm going to put it up on a Twitter poll. So we're going to decide what we think here. I'm going to put it up on a Twitter poll. I'm going to put it up on an Instagram poll, and we're going to decide what it is. And then on Tuesday for Coffee and Curse Words, we're going to come back with a ruling for the court of public opinion. So we're going to be able to take our debate to the mean streets of social media and have a good little chat about what it is. So y'all, we decided on Tuesday that a hot dog was not, in fact, a sandwich. It has been decided. But now the court of public opinion is in session, the Emily D. Baker presiding, though I am not a judge in this case because I also want to join the debate. So let us pull up the amazing Christine Snaps for commentary purposes and for transformative use, all things reserved. Let me turn on the volume on this, make sure my volume's turned up so you can hear what she has to say. Christine, thank you for giving us this question for the court of public opinion. It's really cool when it doesn't play. That's TikTok. You're killing. I had it queued up.
Listen, I have something to say. It's not an argument. It's not for debate. This is barely a discussion. I'm just letting you know. If you're making a bowl of cereal, it goes bowl, milk, then cereal. This is the way I was taught. This is how I feel. It's just milk always before cereal. Listen up.
Is it milk before cereal? Or is it cereal before milk? because I have never in my life heard anyone put milk before cereal. Ever.
And I'm not going to sit here and explain my choices. But if I was going to, I would just say that if you, of course, you put milk first. Then you put the cereal on top. Therefore, none of the cereal gets soggy until you choose to eat it. Then you dunk the cereal in the milk, furthermore, and it becomes ready to eat. If you put the milk and then the cereal, then it gets soggy. Okay, I'm right. Milk first, then cereal. If you
milk first, then cereal? Milk first, then cereal? I have never met anyone who milks first, then cereal.
Do it the other way around, that's fine. That's you do you. But also, you like soggy cereal, and that's a whole other issue that we need to discuss. Soggy cereal people, I have an issue with. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry if I was a little abrupt back there. I was just making a bowl of cereal, and I felt passionate about it and had to say something. But now I can sit down and enjoy my bowl of cereal because even after that whole rant, guess what's not soggy? My cereal. Because I put milk first.
No, you don't. You don't put milk first. You don't put milk first. So I adore Christine Snaps. Yes, there are other questions there. We will get to them. I adore her. But milk before cereal or cereal before milk? Everybody's like cereal first, obviously. Obviously cereal first. Obviously cereal first. But see, here's the other thing. Okay, I've got to move us out of question time. We've gone to court of public opinion. We've gone to court of public opinion. We're in court of public opinion. Here we are. The thing is, if you put in cereal first and then milk and you misjudge, then your cereal spills out. So if you put in milk first, then you know how much cereal you get so your cereal doesn't spill over and the cereal at the top doesn't get soggy. But then you have to eat it from the bottom first. So you guys, cereal first then milk is winning in the chat. Cereal first then milk. Cereal first then milk. Cereal first then milk. But is she right about soggy cereal? Like, maybe we've never considered it before because our parents didn't love us and we weren't taught that you do milk first and then the cereal and then you eat from the bottom. So as the cereal comes down into the milk, each bit of cereal gets appropriately milked. I have never thought of it, but does it need to be milk first? Like, even if you normally do cereal first, would you change your ways? Like, would you change your ways? What you do is you pour it in one spot that you can have it. So like pour it down the center, but that's still cereal first. You need to know how much milk to cover the cereal. Barbara, I agree with you. But if you judge the milk and then put in the cereal and then still have milk, I guess you could just put in more cereal. Maybe. Everybody's like, cereal has to go first. Cereal has to go first. Cereal first and a splash of milk. You can add milk as you eat. So do you add milk or do you add cereal? Exactly. Her theory does make sense though. Like, would it change you? Would it change you? Would it change you? Would you say, no, this has changed me. I never thought about it before, but I'm open. Kason, this is me. I've also never eaten cereal so slow that it gets soggy. I love cereal. It was a frequent dinner option when I was in law school. I feel like maybe we just didn't know. Like, maybe we just didn't know. I don't know. I love who eats slow enough for it to get soggy. People who stop in the middle of their breakfast to make TikToks, apparently. Emily said, stop making me question my life. Like, what else do I do wrong? Because eat oatmeal instead. But isn't oatmeal like specifically soggy cereal? Like, isn't that like it soaks it in to make it soggy? I'd never ever do milk first. I personally like soggy cereal. Michelle, there you go. No, would not change my ways. These heathens who pour milk first, all for soggy cereal. So now we had the Brits in the crew say that this debate also rages with tea. Milk first or tea first? And I feel like it's just as heated of a debate, whether it goes milk first and tea first. But I also feel like as an American, I don't know if I have enough information. And I feel like I need to research it. So maybe we might have to do the milk tea conversation next week, because I don't know if I have enough information to make a ruling. Like, with regard to this, though, it's like, were we taught wrong or are we wrong? I've never even heard of someone doing that before. Right. Always cereal first. And then she says she dunks her cereal. Does she have 2 bowls? I think she says like she puts in the milk and then puts on the cereal and then puts the spoon down and like pushes the cereal down into the milk and then eats it. That's how I interpreted that. So that's how I took it. If you're not a milk first heathen and measure correctly, you shouldn't have soggy cereal. There you go. I only do milk first on the second bowl. Well, that's because the milk's already there, but that makes sense. Because on second bowl, you've like gotten to it. So I guess a lot of us do milk first if we don't eat all of the milk and we need to add. I think all of us agree that we eat our cereal fast enough it doesn't get soggy. Every cereal commercial ever shows cereal then milk. The companies who make the things, maybe they just didn't do the research to see how their people were doing it. But you're right. Did TV teach us wrong that the milk goes on top of the cereal? I really want to know. I'm a klutz. I would rather have slightly soggy cereal than run out of room by pouring too much milk before I even get to the cereal. That's also a very fair point because then you've definitely got 2 bowls. Steven's not weighing in. He's like, it's cereal and milk. Like, why does it matter? I can understand the milk than cereal argument depending on what kind of cereal. It's like eating cookies without milk to dunk it into. That's fair. The companies aren't selling milk. Well, that's why they don't put it in first. They don't want to highlight it. They want to highlight the cereal. The TV taught us wrong. Maybe we're all wrong. Milk first, only on the second bowl. The milk in TV is glue. What? Ew. I mean, it makes sense, but ew. Advertisers have taught us wrong. See, we've all been led wrong. I don't know. I started pouring at the center first and then spiral out with the milk because I'm a child and I need leftover sugary milk from Captain Crunch and Trix. But that makes perfect sense because the leftover sugary milk is delicious. Y'all don't eat your cereal and then drink the milk from the bowl. I think most of us do. I mean, I don't think that's debate. But, we're going to get to toilet paper, Karen. We are. We can only do 1 quart of public opinion a week because we have lots of topics to cover. For sure, we have lots of topics to cover. Lots and lots and lots. Objection, this is hearsay. No, Jakes, it's court of public opinion. So it's opinion. It's opinion. And opinions, are opinions. So they can't really be wrong, but they can be wrong. Tea then milk, keep the tea bag in. Emily, you're taking some controversial stances up in here tonight. This is controversial. I don't know if we can all survive, but this is a controversial stance and I like it. I'm here for it. Chat exploded so lost, but you guys are amazing. Thanks for picking me up. Get in. We're all discussing whether you put milk at the bottom of the cereal bowl and then cereal on top of it, or you put the cereal in the bowl and then pour milk on top of it. Because Christine Snaps has come out with the very, very publicly controversial stance that you put milk first. So that's what it is. All I know is I can no longer have milk or cereal, and I can't test this alternate method of consuming cereal. Susan, I feel your pain. I also no longer have milk and cereal, and it makes me very sad because it was literally one of my favorite dinners. Eggs and bacon is what it is. I am Emily's advocating for the devil. And I think you mean the other Emily who got wild with leave the tea bag in and the milk. Morgan said, hold the phone. Why are we putting milk in tea? Oh, Morgan, the Brits will come and let you know in strength how good tea is with milk and sugar. It is delightful. Like even the airplane tea when you're flying, in the vast experience of the one time I've been to London, even the airplane tea on British Airways was spot on with the amount of milk in the tea. Delicious. It's delicious. Like get an English breakfast tea and then either put milk first or put tea first and then put sugar, and we'll see. Do cereal boxes have directions? We're going to have to find out when we take this to Twitter if cereal boxes have directions. Like pour cereal, pour milk. Mike, we eat cereal dry at this house. Jam before toast. See, Sasha, that's getting wild. But is toast with jam a sandwich? Is definitely a debate for another day. And you guys, we have like another minute of this. And we're going to take it to social media tomorrow. I will put up a poll on Twitter and on Instagram for whether you put milk and then cereal or cereal and then milk. We have some other hot controversies coming to you from this channel. I've got a list. Next week, we're going to have the members vote. We're going to take input. We're going to take input and let the members vote on what question they want. But I felt that this, we had video evidence, because I wouldn't have believed it, you guys. If somebody had come to me and just said, you put milk first, I don't know if I would have believed it. But then I saw it on TikTok and I started questioning my life. I was like, but Christine says it. Like, Christine was like, no, we do it this way. We do it this way. And I was like, what? Like, I've literally never heard anyone say that. Cereal milk is delicious. It is. It's delicious. It's delicious. I know. Watch any cereal commercial, but are they wrong? Because they're trying to highlight the cereal. So they want to pour the cereal first. Can you imagine who works for an ad agency? Somebody do a cereal ad and put the milk in first. It will go viral because everyone will be like, what? They put the milk in first. It will go viral because people will have this court of public opinion discussion. And then the law nerds will be like, we've already decided the issue on Twitter. Allison said, my brain hurts now. I've done it both ways. It doesn't make a difference because I eat slow. Well, you guys, see, here's the thing. Now, for those of you that are cereal fans, you can test this theory out before you vote in the court of public opinion tomorrow. So we are going to continue this debate because I feel like there's a lot to do. Lulu X said, question, I feel like maybe young children are taught to put the milk first so they don't tip the cereal out if the milk leans out of the bowl. Seems like the only acceptable reason to put milk first. I mean, it's a solid reasoning, because what I will tell you about children pouring milk over cereal is that if they fill up the cereal too much, that milk hits the fucking top of the cereal and it's like boosh, and it's just off and away. And so it makes sense to teach kids to do the milk first so that it doesn't hit the top of the cereal and run out of the bowl. Lulu, you're onto something. This is a brilliant strategy. You're onto something that we are all teaching our kids wrong, and we could have all saved our kitchens by teaching our kids to just put the milk in first, because then it would be safe in the bottom of the bowl, and then you could just fill up the adequate amount of cereal instead of filling up too much cereal, splashing the milk everywhere, and then the cereal like volcano erupting over the top of the bowl. This is an argument for doing it milk first. Lulu, I think that's the strongest argument I've seen tonight of why we do milk first. I really do. I think that is a good argument. Scientifically, doesn't milk second make more sense since the cereal floats to the top? It's easier to measure out more accurately. Or if you put the milk first and then the cereal on top, it doesn't spill over. I don't know. I'm going to make a poll on Instagram. I'm going to make a poll on Twitter. I'm going to do those in the morning. Some cereals need to get soggy. Captain Crunch milk first is a recipe for lacerated gums and palate. Kristen, you make a very, very excellent point. And if anybody still eats like grape nuts, we used to eat hot grape nuts as kids in the winter. I can't be the only person who ever did that, but that was my dad's thing. And they got nice and soft and squishy. It was kind of like oatmeal made with grape nuts. It all absorbed in. Delicious. But yeah, Captain Crunch will tear the fuck out of your mouth. It absolutely will. Same with smoothies. Fruit first, then milk. You guys are going to have to try this out in the morning, and you're going to have to let me know, because try it, and then I want a vote. We're going to vote on the Twitters. I'll leave the vote up for more than, hey, Little Red, I'll leave the vote up for more than 24 hours. The cereal will stay on top. Makes no sense. See, she says she dunks it. I don't know, you guys. If you don't want soggy cereal, don't add the milk. Use a glass and drink milk as you eat your cereal. That's a whole, you're like, just separate the two, just like separate receptacles. I like it. Am I the only one imagining corn pops for this milk versus cereal thing? No, Nick, I love corn pops. I also eat them dry. I really enjoy corn pops quite a lot. Tasty, delicious glue. What about Rice Krispies? Rice Krispies would actually make sense for the milk on the bottom argument because they're easy to dunk down. Lori says tea first. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Milk shows up blue on TV and pictures. Really? I've not noticed. I've not noticed at all. Cereal first. I won't stop. It's fair. It's fair. Y'all don't care about the lactose intolerance and it shows. Oh, Ocean Silhouette. It's hard. I don't do a lot of milk either these days, but I miss cereal. It was one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things for sure. Captain Crunch does need to be softened up first. So maybe the type of cereal matters. Like it's, Rice Krispies get soggy so fast that milk bottom makes a lot of sense instead of like a center core of milk or a spiral of milk. But like Captain Crunch has to be drenched in milk so that you don't hurt yourself. And then we see quite a lot of tea first and don't squeeze the bag, let it brew. I don't squeeze the bag either, but that clip opens me up for a lot of internet interpretation. I love sugary milk. Boots Mama, I love the sugary milk too. Is it like yogurt at the bottom? Cecilia, I think it is. I think that's the argument. It's like yogurt on the bottom and then the toppings on top. Add wet ingredients to dry always. See, I always add dry ingredients to wet. What? I always have my wet ingredients and then add dry ingredients as we go, not the other way around. I always add dry to wet. Oh dear, we've got a whole nother, we're going to have to do the wet dry ingredients another time because we don't have time. Laura's like, why do we need rules on how to eat our food? We don't need rules. It's the court of public opinion. Which way is right? So, nobody has to change their mind. Wouldn't the milk splash out if you put cereal second? I don't think so, because the cereal would just float on top. And then if there was too much, the cereal, I don't think would absorb into the milk. I think the cereal might just spill out the top, but then it wouldn't be cereal and milk spilling out the top. Oh gosh. Okay. I put half cereal, then milk, then top it with more cereal. Call me extra. I love that. I love that so much. All right. I'm going to try to get just a few more questions. It is for sure twinkle, twinkle time. Thank you, Mila. It is twinkle, twinkle time. And we've been live for like 2 hours and 20 minutes, you guys. Court of public opinion ran long. Girardi ran long. On Fridays, I might only do one topic in the future. Cereal doesn't overspill the milk, it floats. So we might have to get to one topic on Friday. So we have time for court of public opinion and more time for court of public opinion. So next Friday, I will do one topic instead of trying to do two and then do court of public opinion. So thank you. I know you guys are like, we're devoted. I'm like, I love you. The mods are probably also very tired. There's been a lot of chat. We've had 5,000 people in here all night. So it's a lot. All right, you guys, I appreciate you so much. You guys have lots of input on this. So I love it. I love the debate. We're going to keep this debate going on the Twitters. And oh yeah, my Chick-fil-A is definitely cold by now. It is. It's twinkle, twinkle time. It's twinkle, twinkle. The heathens are cereal first. It's definitely a thing. We are definitely striking at the core of the court of public opinion on whether milk goes first or cereal goes first. If you guys do not know Christine Snaps, if you are on if you are on Instagram or here on YouTube, or also, and I'll link her channel on YouTube and I'll link her account. She's a female comedian. She is just good, silly, wholesome fun. She jokes about her lazy eye, her neighbors. I love her take on stuff, but she is loud, goofy. I really, really dig her take on observational comedy and her pet cactus. I find her to be quite enjoyable and very relatable and approachable. So I love supporting other female creators, and she absolutely made just my night. So thank you guys. Huge thanks for the mods tonight. I know it's busy and we ran over. next Friday, we are going to do one topic and court of public opinion, something equally as controversial as whether milk goes on the bottom or cereal goes on the bottom. And on Tuesday, I will be back for Coffee and Cursey Words. Coffee and Cursey Words is going to be the ruling on the court of public opinion, and then our topic for the week. So I will see you guys for court of public opinion. I will be on the socials over the weekend. I'm not on social on Sunday. It seems to be when everything blows the fuck up. But then on Monday, I'm like, oh, no social Sunday came for me. So I will be on social media tomorrow and on Monday, which is a holiday for MLK. So I will be around. So if you want to keep up with me, that's where I will be. I will be back here up on these YouTube streets Tuesday for Coffee and Cursey Words. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you guys. Good night. Of course, I don't have my shit pulled up. So I'm like, good night. Awkward silence. Awkward pausing. Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. The podcast is the Emily Show podcast. So if you're ready to ride at dawn, head over to lawnerdshop.com, your place for all your lawn nerd needs, stickers, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and more coming soon. If you guys want to join the text, just text emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerds.unite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube